those are all of the satsang questions that have been sent in today. I'm glad that you've all made it here today. I don't know how much longer we have in the season before we start getting weather that will not be beneficial for people traveling. When that happens, we will end the formal satsangs of people. I don't want anyone to be on the roads, you know, in really bad weather. That wouldn't be beneficial. But we'll continue at that point to have satsang here. Sachi can put on her snowshoes and make it up the hill here. So at that point we'll be taking just the questions online and continue to have satsang. Yes?
Can I have one last question?
Oh, okay. Yes, quite fine.
Well, it's not really a question. It's more like like I'm asking for a blessing. In a way, I'm just looking at in the past the lives of great sages like Ramana or Ramana Saraswati. I've read a lot of biographies. You can see in their life that intensity, that utmost seriousness, like from the very young age, how everything else could be discarded very easily, and they just went straight to the path and realization, and to the point of neglecting any other duties, and I really admired that, and I'm asking whether one really has to be beaten up by the world so badly that one has that seriousness, or is there a shortcut to that? And I see that I don't have that.
Yeah, that's, you know, sometimes like in my own life, I had nothing at home. You know, there was no love, there was no, you know, bonding with parents, you know, never heard I love you, never heard any of that. So I started searching at a very young age. So that's, again, a left-handed blessing. If one is really beat up by the world and goes through a lot of adversity, a lot of, you know, a lot of suffering, then one will do anything to get out of that suffering. One really starts that search in earnestness because you can't stand another moment of that pain, that agony. Hopefully people don't have to go through all that agony before they get serious about the path. But nobody can force anyone to be serious about the path. That has to come through soul searching and looking deep within to find out that your life is suffering and wanting to be out of suffering. Okay? You may not have a lot of real visible suffering. Very torturous type of suffering. But if you look within, and I don't want that type of suffering for anyone, Lord knows. It's really not fun to go through that type of torture and things. It's really not fun. But if people look and you see that the transient, that trying to hold on to things, people, events, properties, all of these things are going to go. And when they go, there is suffering that takes place. There's pain that takes place. If you really love your parents and they die, there will be suffering. If you're really intent on making it in the world, there will be suffering. even some of the things that you think you want, and you get it. On the other side of it is suffering. As a case in point, look at the movie stars. How many of them wind up on drugs and winding up overdosing? Why? Is it because they're enjoying their life? No, because they're suffering. Because all their fame did not bring what they thought. What happens is many times is that with this fame they lose their life. They can't go out. They have an image that's been promoted. People think they are this image, and then they're in confusion. They don't know who they are anymore. They know they're not this image. They have power, they have money, yet they're suffering. Why am I suffering? The world says if you have all of these things, I have status, I have power, I have money. So where do I go from here? The human condition is suffering. So this is the first point that one has to come to. And one has to be convinced of it within their own life and mind. Okay? One has to look at it. Sit with things. See the mind states that come and go. How they move your emotions. You know? One sits with that. You have to find the reason in your own life as to why you would surrender 100% to the path. For those that are living a nominal life, they say, well, my suffering's not that bad. Okay? I really don't see it as suffering. I have a few bad times, but that's okay. I weather the storms. I go on. Maybe they won't cognize suffering until they're on their deathbed. And then it becomes real. You don't get out of the death process. Nobody gets out of that one. And for some people it doesn't become real until that's in play. So as far as blessing somebody, the blessings are always here. The blessings are always given. The absolute is within. Therefore, blessings are always given. Okay? But one has to discover within themselves the reason to totally surrender within to the path. Okay? I hope that helps.